Filmmaking isn't just about capturing moving images, it's about bottling emotion, weaving in meaning into light and shadow, and building entire worlds frame by frame. It's a language of its own, where every shot whispers something unspoken, and every cut carries a pulse. For me, creativity isn't just a skill to be sharpened, it's a lens through which I see the world. It's the rhythm behind everything I do, and I've spent years immersed in the creative sector, collaborating, experimenting, and sometimes failing, but always learning. And through my journey, my understanding of creativity has deepened, and it's no longer about sudden bursts of inspiration, but it's about showing up, staying curious, and trusting the process. Creativity was believed to be bestowed by the 9 muses, goddesses who were the epitome of inspiration. They guided poets, artists and thinkers toward magnificent ideas and discoveries. So it's no surprise that creativity has been seen as something mystical, an intangible force that comes and goes like the wind. For me, creativity manifests its way in many forms through art, music, architecture, fashion, storytelling, and beyond. It's a shape that forces our world, and yet it feels so elusive. One moment, inspiration can strike like lightning, filling us with excitement and ideas. And next we find ourselves stuck in this creative limbo, unsure how to move forward. For me, creativity comes in all walks of life. Some of my biggest creative influences come from music, fashion, and film. And in this video, I want to deep dive into history's greatest creative minds and explore what insights that we can find useful. A lot of people are scared to be themselves creatively. They see a style or an idea that has worked for someone else, and their first instinct is to copy it. But imitation isn't innovation. That's not creativity, that's replication. And Pharrell talks about this, and he says there's only one you. And that actually hit me quite hard, because in a world full of talent, it's your voice, it's your perspective, it's your story that's gonna set you apart. It comes from tapping into who you are, your unpopular opinions, your unique taste. Whether you're an artist, designer, entrepreneur, or content creator, your individuality is your superpower. And this is what really drew me to Pharrell. He never fitted a box. He wasn't the stereotypical rapper. He floated between hip hop, funk, and fashion, and even now design. And I think now he's actually the creative director for Louis Vuitton, correct me if I'm wrong. He's essentially created his own lane, and guess what? People have followed. And this idea isn't just for artists. In the book, The Courage to Be Disliked, they talk about the idea that real freedom, and by extension creativity, comes from when you stop worrying about other people's expectations. When you free yourself from the need of approval, you open a door to a type of originality that once you couldn't be able to tap into. So whether you're making music or building a product or even just telling a story, don't ask what's trending, ask what feels true to me. This will be the work that resonates, the work that lasts, because people don't connect to perfection, they connect with honesty. And that's exactly what individuality brings to the creative process. When we think of creativity, we often imagine a lone creative in their studio, crafting their masterpiece in solitude. And yes, there's definitely beauty to solo work. And I've experienced this myself working in UX design and videography. Working alone allows you to chase your own vision and stay in the flow and execute your ideas without any interruptions. But another side of creativity that gets overlooked is collaboration. And this is where things can get interesting. And Pharrell is a perfect example of how collaboration can amplify creativity. And that's the beauty of coming together. When different minds, backgrounds, and perspectives converge, the outcome is often something entirely new. People are drawn to creators who express their true selves, who speak from experience, from instinct, from the heart. And Pharrell has built an entire principle around this theory. He's spoken about the power of staying true to yourself. And I think the music industry has had a history with trying to stifle creativity. Record labels are notorious for trying to push artists to create something that they would never have originally created. Putting creativity in a box with a certain type of style and genre, when they break free from their contract, they end up doing something entirely different. When I think back to any type of rock bands, I think they had an allure because they said what they wanted, they did what they wanted to do, and ultimately they created the type of music they wanted to do. It's the type of authenticity that money can't buy. Virgil Abloh believed that true creativity wasn't about reinventing the wheel. It was about tweaking it enough to make it feel fresh. He called this the 3% rule, the idea that you only need to change a small percentage of something to make it feel new. Virgil understood that people crave familiarity, but they also desire novelty. By making small but intentional changes to existing ideas, he created work that was both recognizing and groundbreaking. And when you think about it, the most iconic films, books, or fashion labels, when they produce something, it's not entirely new. They're just selling old ideas with a twist. And that is essentially what fashion is. It's quite cyclical. Take Breaking Bad, for example. It's a crime story about drug trafficking, which is a plot that we've seen countless times. But what made it different was the fact that the protagonist wasn't a gangster. He was a middle-class chemistry teacher, which made the premise something totally unique. Virgil's philosophy also aligned with another timeless creative principle, the book Steal Like an Artist. The book had this concept that creative work builds on what came before it. Artists, writers, filmmakers, and musicians pull from past experiences. One of the biggest creative secrets that movies and books don't want to tell you is that they're all technically the same. They just come in different variations. The structures, the themes, and the character arcs, they've existed for centuries. I'm in love with movies directed by Christopher Nolan. Nolan refuses to be limited by linear narratives or predictable storytelling. And that's when you need to step out of what is normal, when you let go of the so-called blueprint to life. And this is not always going to be comfortable, but creativity thrives in unfamiliar territory. So if there's one thing to take away from all of this, is that creativity is not just a spark, it's a force. For me, creativity is deeply personal. It's a space where I can absorb, I can reflect. It's where old ideas meet new insights. It's where the boundaries get blurred and something unfamiliar starts to take shape. And here's my theory: when you start tapping into a creative energy, whether you're writing, designing, or building, or problem solving, it might feel vague at first. You'll circle the problem, examining it from every single angle. Your mind will dig through all the information that you've taken in, connecting the dots, forming new patterns, and creating meaning. And often in the most quietest moments, this is where you're the most open. Something lands, that intuitive hit, that aha moment, and then you just know. So whatever craft it is, keep creating, keep exploring, keep getting uncomfortable. Because creativity isn't just about making things, it's about finding your voice and solving problems in different ways. Anyways guys, that brings me to a close. If this video resonated with you, please smash the like button, I'd really appreciate it. If you want to say hello, please comment below. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in another one.